Well, I've been on one.
Yeah,
but
you
it was
have,
like
you have, you have.
I was an invitee.
It was thrill though. It was for the thrill.
You're the camera guy, dude. You're the camera guy. Make it a little frio.
No, I mean, dude.
You're the reason why
how's the shirt look? Looking good?
Mickey, you're the reason why I even thought this was a good idea, because you make noise. That's why I was like, you know what? First episode, I'm bringing on the lion. First episode, I'm bringing on the lion because he's not camera shy. He makes noise. And every time I get on the phone with you, you convince me to make noise. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, like the motivation's there. It's
yeah,
like
but
good
it's
energy,
natural.
Good fucking, you know.
It's natural.
Come on.
You don't sit there and tell me corny quotes, you know, a Tesla quote. No, you get on there, you talk real shit. So I was like, you know what? Let me get on there with my boy, Bryan.
I like it. I like it. I really appreciate this, bro.
Bueno, vamos a empezar.
Yeah, I'm ready too, bro.
Episode 1,
we're
chapter
10X.
1,
We're 10X.
verse 1. We're 10X.
We're 10X. Let's get to Exodus.
All right, man, let's get straight to it. I'm
Let's
on
get
here
to
with
it.
Mr. Bryan Ozuna himself. Everybody knows him as the Lion.
Yes, let's go.
I know him as Sneak. A lot of people don't know you as Sneak. Yeah.
That's the thing. I tell a lot of people that, and they're like, what the hell does that even mean?
Let them wonder, bro. Let them ponder. Let them ponder.
Sneakerhead, short for sneakerhead. Short for sneakerhead. And I feel like that's where my sales comes from. Like,
Yeah, no doubt.
Growing up, high school.
Well, you got a lot of experience with sales growing up high school. You also got the background in firefighting, which a lot of people don't know about either.
The structure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you know a lot about sales, customer service. Why not elevate it and bring it into real estate and change lives in another way?
Oh, that's exactly what I do. I mean, that's exactly what I do. I went into the fire academy at a young age, you know, so coming up, it was very military. Yes, sir. No, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
So much integrity. So by the time I kind of gave up on firefighting, not gave up, but when I made that 360 transition where I'm only going to be doing real estate 24/7, I went ahead and implemented what I learned in the fire department, what I learned in the academy. I put it into business.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And most of the clients that we work with, they emphasize that. Yo, I like working with Bryan. Yo, this guy takes his stuff serious. Yo, sometimes Bryan's more serious about it than me. That's clients that are telling me this.
Right.
Damn,
right.
you know, I thought it was a bad idea. Bryan took me and got me to the right property. Told me why I should get this one. Things that I didn't see, he revealed. And now I know it's a good investment.
Right, just because I value their business.
No doubt.
I value their business, and I feel like when I bring value to the table, you know,
Wait, so let me ask you.
A lot of noise.
What do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy helping the investors, right? I mean, not just the regular person who purchases a property, because those are investors too. I'm talking about people who already have multiple properties. Do you like helping them more? Or do you enjoy more the first-time buyers? Which one do you feel more like if you're helping more?
I like to help everybody.
Oh, of course, no doubt.
I love to help everybody, you know. Now, my niche, yes, investors for the most part.
Okay.
I like to talk about cash flow.
And what got you to getting into the investor space with multi-units and just deciding, hey, look, this is where I'm going to niche out at? What motivated you to get onto that path?
So when I started my career about 7-8 years ago, in the beginning, yes, it was a bunch of single family condos, townhouses. But I got to a point where, you know, I wanted to sell with value. And I feel that when I started selling multifamily, not only did I learn for myself, but, you know, I was able to explain to the person that already has a property, hey, look, I know you have a house, you're a homeowner. Now let me, you know, let's take it up a notch. Let's become a landlord. You know, let's implement, you know, that, how do you call it?
Just bring things to the next level.
No, you know, that passive income to the table, you know. Like,
that's next level.
That right there was
the
motivation behind, you know, me becoming who I am now with, you know, my investors and being very, you know, hand on hand with, you know, what property I'm going to send to you that's going to give you a return. Not what property I'm going to send to you, you know, where, okay, yeah, you need security. Most of these guys already have that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so it sounds like, I know you like to help everybody, but it sounds like you really do get more of a kick in the investor space.
Oh my God, I love it. It's
Correct me if I'm wrong, please.
No. This is you know me best. So yes, I feel like the investor side of things in the real estate world, that that gives me that oxygen I need
Yeah, no doubt.
to keep going every single day.
No doubt. For me, I really, really enjoy the first time buyer space, especially if they're purchasing up to 4 units.
Right.
That's something that's completely life changing.
Right.
And that's what we do, man. We're in the business and we change lives, man. I don't think people understand
No,
how
they don't.
the drasticness.
Some
they
don't.
really don't,
Some
man.
don't.
We're absolutely changing lives. You used to live like this. Now you live like this.
Right.
Right. Especially if you go in with the 2 unit, 3 unit, or 4 unit. But even on the single family unit, you know, for the husband and wife who are buying their first single family home, I also get a kick out of that too.
What do you
Because it
get?
might-
Do you like working with buyers more or investors?
Well, investors are buyers.
Well, I mean, again, in this case,
First
do you
time
like-
buyers or investors?
or investors, right?
Man, I get more of a kick and I get more of a kick out of helping the first time buyers, but I enjoy working with investors more because they know more about what's going on.
Right.
They're more numbers focused,
Right.
and that makes things a lot more easier,
I love that,
right? Instead of the first time buyers are more emotional focused,
which is okay,
which is okay because I'm still helping them out too.
right?
And to me, honestly, anything is better than renting. Even though you're buying your first property and you're still paying towards your mortgage, right? Money's coming technically out of your pocket. To me, at least you're building equity. I've helped out so many people who've bought their first property and used this equity to buy another property.
Right.
You can never get that out of renting.
Oh, I love
you can't go
that.
back to your landlord and say, hey, man, please help me buy, unless you're doing like what is this called? Rent to own?
Which is
Which is
I mean-
Fugazi.
yeah. That's you're not going anywhere with that.
Nah. That's a pipe dream. But yeah, man, I do get more of a kick of helping out the first time buyers because it's a huge milestone. And the investor, you know, this isn't their first rodeo.
Right.
But yeah, they're more numbers driven. So it makes the process a lot more easier when I can just show them rate, cap rate, what their closing costs are, when they're going to make a return. And they're like, all right, let's rock and roll.
Let's rock and roll.
As opposed to the first time buyer, you know,
Right.
it's like, hey,
Don't get me wrong. I like helping the first time buyer now.
Me too. I actually do get more of a kick out of it. I love changing their lives too.
You
Because
get more kick of first time home buyers as well.
Absolutely.
Oh wow.
I get more of a kick out of that because these are your regular people. These aren't people that are accredited investors who have $1 million in their account or just several hundreds of thousands of dollars. These are people that are using their life savings to
Right.
purchase a piece of real estate. These are
Right.
people that are digging into the 401k, getting gift funds. You're changing their lives drastically by giving them the most expensive asset they could ever own.
Right.
That's life changing.
That is. I
And how
agree.
many people have we helped like that?
Oh come on, over 1 million already.
Yo, we're in there
I
like
already lost
swimwear.
count. I lost count. I
Yeah.
definitely lost count.
No doubt. Yeah, so what advice would you give to someone who came from where you came, right? Who's
Miami.
thinking about getting into real estate and they're like, yo, Bryan, what's the best 3 pieces of advice I'm about to get into real estate? What would you tell me that I need to work on? Regular guy, you know, just coming out of the fire department, let's say.
Okay, so coming out of the fire department,
Best 3 pieces right here. 3-piece knuckle sandwich.
okay, consistency is number one.
Consistency?
Consistency is number one.
Okay.
All right. I feel like without it, you won't get far in real estate
But being consistent. Consistent in your schedule, consistent in what?
and everything.
Okay.
When it comes to marketing, when it comes to prospecting, when it comes to, you know, I mean, not negotiating, but when it comes to, you know, pretty much just, you know, setting the tone, you know, you have to be another part is dedication as well. Dedication. You got to be dedicated to it.
No doubt.
If you're not dedicated and your mind's elsewhere, you want to start another business, you want to have multiple businesses, like it won't help.
So what do you mean by dedicated? Like, would you say obsessed?
Yes.
Obsessed.
Obsessed.
Obsessed means you don't care about nothing else except for this.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. So if they're getting into real estate, first piece of advice, consistency, right? Whatever your schedule is, whatever it is that you got planned,
Be consistent.
be
in
consistent
everything.
with it.
Even if it's the first thing, if it's from going to the gym, from dieting to, you know, even, you know, going on daily nights dates with your female or with your other, you know, conservative other. Be consistent in that, you know.
Puppy.
Yeah, as long as you're consistent, you know, you'll be far in this business.
Consistent, obsession. There's one more missing, bro. What's the third? What's the best 3 pieces of advice?
Integrity.
Integrity, doing right by
Integrity.
the people you're doing business with.
Always.
That's a
Always.
huge one.
That's a huge one because here.
That one should probably be number one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. But, you know, like you said, for someone that's coming out of the fire department or a fire academy, they already have that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that gets engraved into your brain when you're in the academy. So
doing right
a
by
lot
the
of people don't have that, you know, which is why a lot of people, you know, they talk down to, you know, some parts of Miami, like, you know.
Right.
So, you know, it puts us in a position where it's like, okay, we need to work on that.
Okay,
So
no doubt.
integrity, I feel like it's, you know.
Integrity is number 3. So that's number 3. That's what you would give an up-and-coming person who wants to be just like you.
Well, that wants to succeed in the real estate business.
Just like you.
The ladder.
That's what I'm talking about, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. No doubt. I think
And for someone that's coming into the world that wants to be a lender, what are the top 3?
Man. You're coming in and you want to be a mortgage broker, loan originator. Number one thing I would say immediately coming out the gate is straight up hiring a coach. You need to hire a coach. You need someone who's going to teach or at least get a mentor. Wherever you're going to get your license at, ask that broker, whoever you're hanging your license with, teach me the ways, man. Teach me the ways.
Right.
Once you make that person teaches you the ways. Once you make your first couple of commissions, invest it in yourself immediately. And I mean that by like hiring a real coach.
Right.
I'm a firm believer that your broker or whoever it is that you got your license with, they might not want you to be higher than them. You know, so they might give you the juice, but they're not going to give you the squeeze. They're not going to teach you how to squeeze the juice yourself. You understand what I'm saying?
I mean, sometimes it depends. It depends.
I've never met a broker who taught someone under them how to start their own brokerage. Never. Hey, look, this is how you're going to do it. Once you're done with teaching me once you're done learning what I'm teaching you, here's how you're going to get your own license.
It takes time, though.
It takes time for them to teach you that.
There's brokers that have realtors. They come and go. You know, so it's like for a broker, that's just too much liability
Oh, I
to
agree.
even have a conversation about.
I agree.
You know what
I
I
agree.
mean? So,
But de toda manera, there's going to be no broker anywhere that's going to teach you how to leave them, is what I'm saying. They're not going to say, hey, look, once you learn this piece of real estate, I want you to go ahead and start your own thing. But if you hire a coach is going to teach you, hey, look, this is what I need you to start doing.
what if the broker is the coach?
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's going to get you to a certain level.
Right.
Once you start closing your deals and getting commissions, it's time to spend some bank and hire a real coach.
Yeah. I agree.
That's what I would give the mortgage guy.
Right.
I would say, hey, man, go ahead and hire a coach.
Right.
Second, continue to study and get your paws wet, man, because a lot of people, they want to leave out the studying. I'm talking about studying from all aspects of the business, mortgage guidelines, learning sales. And we know that a lot of people hear that word sales and they get eked up or, oh, I feel dirty saying it. You got to learn sales. You got to learn how to talk. You got to learn how to, you got to learn how to say, how many people in our business get shy of saying we're in sales?
I don't understand that. That's a disconnect.
That's a disconnect.
From, what they have going on. I mean, I feel like once you understand that, there's no going away from that.
I think it's because growing up, we've connected sales to something icky, so to speak, right? We connected sales to, cold calls from, while your parents answering the phone in the kitchen. Hey, do you want to buy an air conditioning unit or something like that? They've connected sales to that. But really, sales is asking questions to someone and figuring out how you can serve them.
To make it happen. Correct.
Sales is service.
That's all it
really is.
That's all it is.
It's service, bro.
That's all
if you're
it
not
is.
willing to serve, bro, then that's what you really should. The synonym for sales should be service.
Right.
That's what you're doing, man. You're helping people out.
Right.
Changing lives. But learning sales, getting a coach, and number 3, keep a clean name, which goes back to what you were saying, integrity.
There you go.
Keep a clean name,
That's
man.
number 3.
Once your name gets dirty, bro, people talk. Realtors talk. Title companies talk.
And in Miami, everybody judges, so there you go.
Everybody knows you, man. You do one person dirty, you do them wrong. Why would you put that on your name? You know what I'm saying? You got to keep a clean name. So whenever someone gets that pre-approval letter and it shows your name on it, oh, I've worked with this guy before. I know this guy does a good job.
Good credibility.
Good credibility.
Goes a long way.
Goes a long way.
It goes a
man.
long way.
100%. 100%, brother. So
Love it.
what would you say most people know about you, but they don't know? Well, what would you say is something that people don't know about you on your private life? Like how much is it that you dedicate towards, let's say, your fitness, or how early you wake up, or what it is, or what you do to be number one?
Right.
A lot of people don't know what you do to be number one, man.
I
A
beat
lot
the
of people
sun.
don't know.
You got to beat the sun.
You got to beat
It
the sun.
starts there. Beat the sun. Let's get a workout out the way. You know, doing intentional hard shit on purpose.
How important is that to you?
Just to get the mind going. That's
important is that?
important. That's 100%. That's super important.
Yeah, it's top of the list.
Mental clarity. Mental clarity.
Yeah,
And then
no
when
doubt.
it comes down to it in sales, that's what you need. You need to have mental clarity. If you don't have mental clarity, you wake up foggy, you wake up late, you know, you don't eat a good breakfast, you don't lift weights, you don't
Yeah.
get a good sweat out, you know, you're going downhill.
Yeah, no doubt.
You're
I
going
agree.
downhill.
I agree. But why is it that sometimes I call you at 1 PM, you say you're waking up from a nap?
That's a lie. It's actually 1 o'clock here. It's actually 1 o'clock now.
Every time I call you, you're like, what?
Nah, come on.
That's never happened, bro.
That never happens.
That's never happened.
That never happened.
Never,
No,
ever.
No.
No, I'm huge on that,
So yeah, so waking up, I mean, that's number one. Again, keeping a clean mind. Just, you know, it comes with it. You know, it's very important.
You can't be number one without a clean mind, is what you're saying.
I don't think so, because you have so
Nah.
many things going on.
No
That's
doubt.
number one for me. After that, you know, obviously it comes with the marketing, the prospect of my business. I make sure my family's good. Everybody in my family's good. And before I hit the road, you know, I say my prayers. I like to read the Bible, a few scriptures a day, every
Okay.
single day.
Okay.
And, you know, just to keep me alive. And
all
most
goes back to
importantly,
clarity.
exactly.
All goes back to clarity.
You know, so I do that before leaving the house. I read my goals, and I go and take on the day.
No doubt.
Positivity, always.
No doubt, man. I think the same thing.
Yeah.
I think the same thing, bro. And straight up, if you're not waking up earlier before everybody to get that workout in and to push yourself, you're really not going to be able to serve the people how you want, because you yourself aren't at 100%.
Correct.
You're not getting yourself right. How are you going to sit there and help somebody and say I did my best with them, but you're not at your best?
Correct.
So you're lying to yourself.
Correct. Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. So for that same reason, you know, that's number one for me.
Yeah, no doubt. Number one, getting that workout in, getting the word
5
in.
days a week, you know, I do, you know, I like to have my rest day on Saturday. And,
Okay.
you know, I practice my, you know, my Shabbat on Saturdays.
Okay.
Pick that up. I'm a good Christian, but
No
I pick
doubt.
that up, and I feel like that right there also just huge 360 in my life.
Yeah, man.
Where I can disconnect from the entire world for one day.
Yeah.
Come back Sunday. It's my Monday. I get to plan.
Correct.
I feel alive. My brain is recharged.
Correct.
And I'm ready to roll.
Talk to the people. Where did you get that idea of keeping the Shabbat?
I'm talking to him.
Yeah, man. That
was 5 years ago. We had that conversation. I remember it like it was yesterday. I'm showing properties, going crazy. It's a Friday, and you tell me, "What are you doing tomorrow?" I tell you, I'm going to go show properties. You're like, "Brother, what are you doing? Aren't you a king?"
Yeah, no doubt.
And that day, I was like, "What? This guy's preaching."
Yeah, bro.
And we spoke about, you know, really having that rest day and implementing the Shabbat in your life. And
Yeah, but
it
you
made
gotta go
wonders.
ham.
It made
You gotta
wonders.
go straight ape Sunday through Friday.
Correct.
You got to.
And then if you're not making noise, and if Saturday is really a day you have to work, you're not doing enough.
Right. No doubt.
If you can't take one
And
day,
say that again.
If you can't take one day off for yourself to recharge,
Right.
You know,
Just put the phone away.
get right with your family.
Get right
make
with
sure
the
you know,
fam.
which that's is every day. I feel like that's every day for
Of
me.
course.
You know, just to have that mental clarity. Goes back to the mental clarity. Family's good, awesome. I don't have no kids. I have nieces. I make sure they're fine. They're
Okay.
good. Everything's fine. Their mom is fine. Cool. Let's rock and roll.
That's what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
bro. That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah. You start the day off, man. Any entrepreneur, bro, you got to be getting up earlier than anybody. If you're going to the gym at 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, or whatever it is,
You're losing.
you're losing. You're losing, and you're not even paying attention, because 9 times out of 10, or probably 10 times out of 10, you're listening to music on your phone, and your phone won't shut up. Everybody's texting you, asking you for updates, or, hey, I got a new client for you. Can you call them now? How are you going to pay attention to your workout?
I'll plan for disaster.
a plan for disaster, bro. A plan for disaster, no doubt, 100%, man.
Yes, sir. That's what it goes down to. I mean, again, it's super easy, like easy traits, but sometimes people don't follow that, and they expect things and nothing happens, and they don't know why it doesn't happen. And
Yeah. What I wanted you to talk about is I really wanted to see what your thoughts were, Mr. Bryan Ozuna.
Talk to me.
What are your thoughts on people who say, and I can tell you my thoughts of people who say the same thing on the mortgage side, but what do you think about people who say that realtors get paid too much for what they do?
I feel there's a lack of knowledge there. You know what I mean?
300%.
I feel like they really don't know what they're talking about. And at that point, you can't really put yourself and lower your standard and get to their level. At that point, it's something that they need to educate themselves.
Talk to the people real quick. Those who are not educated, and you're looking at this show right now, you're looking at this podcast, and maybe you think like that. Maybe you think that realtors get paid way too much, because we deal with those people all the time.
That.
There's a lot of times people, and you see it.
Realtors think that?
No,
People think
people.
That?
Did I say realtors?
No, you said people.
Oh, yeah, they think all the time, like, hey, maybe that realtor should give me a piece of their commission for my closing costs.
Well, that's not.
Or they get paid way too much para enseñarme una casa, and they act like that's all you do. Break down a little bit of why it's important to have a real estate agent, right? A real estate professional that knows what they're doing, that's representing you as a seller or a buyer, and in a sense, why you're worth every penny.
Well, besides opening the door and obviously getting access to the property, any property here, Miami, Broward, number one, the contract. Most of these people don't understand that contract. And when it comes down to it, when somebody wants to buy that property and they don't know how to do a contract, that's when it really hits them and say, oh my God, I need a realtor.
Yeah.
So, I feel like I said, it's a lack of not knowing. When you find that property, you like it, what's next?
Yeah, let's talk about negotiations. That's a huge one.
Oh, negotiations.
A lot of people think they can negotiate.
And, they don't do it right. They don't have the tonality. Right. And it all comes down to being a beast at sales. A beast.
Where I really do give real estate agents a lot of props on the buyer side too, but on the sales side. Every time I have a buyer who's dealing with a for sale by owner, which has happened a few times. I got a pre-approved buyer.
Right.
They're like, hey, no, I know someone who's going to sell me their house directly.
Right.
They have no...
It's a mess.
They have no agent.
It's a mess.
Dude, they almost all the time, it's probably only happened like twice where the pricing came back lower because the guy just didn't know where he was pricing at. But almost all the time, the appraisal comes back in about 50 grand over.
Oh my God, I hate that. I hate when it happens. And again, it's part of the business.
And they thought they didn't need a real estate agent.
No, it's like going to court without an attorney. I tell everybody this. It's like you're going to go to court. Yes, you're going to go to court, but you want to go to court with an attorney representing you, having your back to feel a lot better of whatever, you're dealing with. But that's the same, I feel like it's the same idea of when you want to find a house.
Yeah, you're going to war without a general.
Come on.
You're going to war because it's war.
It's not going to happen. And it's war because you get people bidding more than one contract on that property.
Yeah.
Now what are you going to do? Now the realtor wants to work with another realtor. Doesn't want to work with a direct buyer. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. You just don't ever know.
No doubt, man.
I personally like to always have a professional on the other end just to make sure everything is on point.
No doubt. A lot of people who try to sell their real estate by themselves.
For sale by owner?
For sale by owner.
Oh, my God.
And they don't understand the value of a real estate agent.
to each his own, but...
No, to each their own nothing, because you're absolutely...
I love the fight.
You love the fight.
I love the fight.
They don't understand that you're going to war.
Right.
Back in the days, whenever you see pictures of like people from back in the 1700s or whatever it is, whether it's an old president or whatever, these were businessmen. And if you look at their collar, they always used to have long collars. Remember with like they used to have like what do you call it? Like some sort of you look at these old pictures, they're paintings of them, and they have like a cloth on top of their collar. They always have high collars covering their necks. Have you ever noticed that?
No.
They all have high collars covering their necks. And even right now to this day, whenever you put on a business suit, the collar kind of covers a lot of your neck.
Okay, yes. I see where you're going with this.
In business, they would actually, if you do your research on this, in business, they would actually, because they considered it going to war. Right. Business was an art of war.
Right.
They would actually try to slice people's necks. So they used to have to cover their neck. In business, It sounds crazy. You're like, what the hell, Gio? They used to slice their necks. Yeah, back in those days, they used to try to slice people's necks. So when you're conducting business, you're actually doing a form of war. Check it out.
No, that makes sense.
Check it out.
That makes sense.
So when you're trying to do first sale by owner, you're going to war without a general. They're going to war without knowing anything about war.
Knowing nothing.
And they always end up
calling or getting information from a realtor or a lender.
And if they don't, they're getting hit. And I'm telling you because I've experienced it. I'm helping buyers, and the seller doesn't have their first sale by owners, and they get left in the dust. And obviously, it's not up to me to let the seller know, like, hey, you know, the appraisal came in 50 grand higher. Whatever.
Right.
It is just what it is.
No,
And they tried to save on commissions.
Having a professional is the way to go. You can't do that. It doesn't make any sense. You know, you want to sell for top dollar, but then you don't want to do it the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
You know,
they think that saving on the commissions is selling at top dollar, but the commissions.
It's a big lack of knowledge. It goes back to that.
Lack of knowledge. Bro.
Lack of that. You know what I mean? Lack of understanding how this business works.
No doubt. 100%, bro. 100%.
And again, I like to explain this to people that really don't know, because again, like you said, people don't know, and it's not their fault that they don't know. So you know, it's not for to bash them either. You know what I mean? But once they get connected with professionals like me and you, and they understand.
Yeah. A piece of me thinks that it is my fault, or it is the fault of the professionals.
If you think it's a piece, then it is.
Because we're not putting out content like this so that they can be aware of what's going on. How many times have you ever seen anybody? I mean, these first sale by owner people are just like regular people. They're scrolling on reels.
Looking at different apps,
looking at different things,
different
blah, blah, blah.
articles.
And there's nothing coming up that's talking about what we're talking about.
Correct.
So when they go and decide, hey, yeah, I'm going to sell my property. Well, I'm going to do a first sale by owner. Why am I going to pay a realtor this commission and blah, 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 da, 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 da. They don't know, because people like us.
They don't know they already created negative energy in that sale by doing that.
Okay. How important is the energy in a sale?
Oh,
that's something that I hear you talk about a lot. Like even when we do our own deals and we're helping out clients, that's something that you do bring up a lot. Like, hey, you stop it off rip.
I stop it right there. I hate negativity.
You stop it off rip. Wait, we're not
100%.
going to talk like that. We're going to keep the energy this way.
Correct. I'm big on that because
you're huge on that.
Because if you start talking bad, you start bringing up unnecessary things, unnecessary statements that sound negative. Very clear.
Yeah.
I already stop it right there, because then we leave and the air's still there, and then that person goes to sleep thinking about that. They wake up thinking about it. They wake up, talk to their wife, their husband. Hey, you don't think et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And then next thing you know, hey, cancel. So now the professional, they waste time on, doing a bunch of stuff where they brought up the negative energy themselves.
Yeah.
And you like using the word disqualifying. They disqualify themselves because
right.
They brought that negative energy upon the sale, and now, we're back out hunting again.
Yeah, they always do that, bro. They always disqualify themselves.
You love saying, I learned that from you, actually.
It's true,
It's
man.
like, you don't want to bring that negative energy to the space,
Yeah.
You're here for a reason. You're either buying a property for security because of your family, or you're buying a property to make that passive income.
No doubt.
Those two things are positive. So why talk negative?
100%, man. Oh, wait, so what do you think about, what advice would you give a first-time buyer? Because, again, these are first-time buyers that are more emotional driven, right? We've already established investors are more numbers driven, which is just a fact.
Right.
All they care about is getting an ROI.
Right.
What advice would you give a first-time buyer? Because I see this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You as the real estate agent,
Right.
how much they're getting advice from outside individuals. As you're giving them advice, let's say an inspection comes back.
Right.
And there's, I don't know, let's just say there's something going on with something light. Like let's say maybe a room needs to be repainted or something to that degree. Mm-hmm. Something very light. Mm-hmm. But the deal's awesome. Mm-hmm. You're already getting a credit from the sellers, the whole nine. And then here comes their tío, their uncle at the barbecue that says, oh, yeah, no. What you're going to do is you're going to ask for a $50,000 credit. Or they start getting advice from the outsiders. What do you tell a first-time buyer? Someone who's like prone to just be like, hey, I saw this and I want to do it this way. And they're trying to tell you what to do.
No, that's great. I always agree with them. Mm-hmm. But I always know to kind of like pull the buyers aside and kind of say, hey, look, what he said is true, but this is a different way or a different form that can cost you a lot cheaper or something you can do in the future. You know, I try to make it into a positive. I never like to fight back. I'm not going to get antagonistic with their uncle because it goes back to bringing negative energy into the room.
Oh, wow. I never thought of that. I usually tell people straight up, he's wrong.
Well, I mean, and again, you're not wrong for doing that.
Yeah.
I agree with that too. You know what I mean? But for the most part, when it's a first-time home buyer, I understand that when the uncle is, or the mom or the dad is inputting on a specific subject inside the house, you know, I always like to listen to the elders and say, okay, I guess they're right.
Yeah.
But what can we do and not spend the 50 grand?
I never thought about that, putting the negative energy out. I never thought about that.
Important, brother.
Brother, I do that often.
Very important.
I'll come back, the client will come talk to me and be like, hey, look, how much is it to pay 2 points for a lower rate? And, you know, my uncle said that it's an awesome idea and I should talk to you about it. I'll tell you straight up, it's a horrible idea.
It's a horror. No, but that's a different.
You know,
that's
like,
different. You know, like that's Chinese to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a different ball game. It's a
Yes,
different
big
court.
time. Which again, I respect because you know, a lot of lenders don't last in this game.
Nah. We're one of the most competitive. This is the most competitive. Real estate and mortgages is more competitive than NFL, NBA. I said it. Quote me on this. Anybody want to go and share this and say this guy's an idiot? We are the most competitive industry out there. I don't care. I'll say that, and I'll say it confident.
No,
to be number one in this is harder than being a Michael Jordan. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, you want to be number one in real estate? You want the stress level? You'll be more bald than Michael Jordan coming into this real estate junk.
That's true.
For real.
That's true.
To be number one in real estate, dude.
It's a difficult sport. It's a difficult sport.
Very difficult sport.
Very competitive, very difficult. A lot of people don't see that.
No.
They just think, oh, I'm going to show $1 million house and tomorrow I close.
Yeah. And that might work for some people. That might work for some people.
You know, honestly, I love the process.
Do you love the competitive nature of this business?
Oh, yeah.
So you're competitive.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see anybody.
So who do you compete with? Yourself? Who do you compete with?
I like to compete with myself. I like to stay in my tunnel vision. I don't like to look at other people. You know what I mean? So I compete with myself.
You know, I try to be like that. There's times where I know I'm competing with myself, but there is something that happens in the subconscious mind when I see someone else who's dominating more than me.
But that's a you versus you problem.
It is a me versus me problem.
Yeah.
But I can't help but just be like, oh, I got to surpass this person at some point.
You know, it's not a bad thing to be that way, honestly, you know, because that's a little competition that you have with yourself.
Does that ever happen to you?
I don't know.
No, you never see somebody and you're like, all right, one day, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know one day I got to surpass this. I got to help more people than this man.
I don't see that.
Dude, it happens to me all the time.
I don't see that.
Yeah?
I mean, again, it goes back to tunnel vision. I learned tunnel vision at a very young age. So, you know, for me, it's like just stay in your lane.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I agree with that.
I don't look side to side. I can hear you vent.
Yeah.
I can hear you talk about the deal, like what happened. Oh my God, I had to, whatever stress. I don't really complain.
Yeah.
About anything like that ever, but other people do. But when I hear it, I just, you know,
no doubt.
I understand where it's coming from. Like,
Yeah, no, I always try to be, I try to help out as much. I'm a bit of best of both worlds. I do have tunnel vision and I'm always looking at my numbers and I better be doing more numbers than I did last year.
That's the thing.
But I also can't help but think that, damn, this guy helped out this many people. I got to really up my game.
But it goes back to, again, like you said, tracking your numbers. If you track your numbers and you look at what you do on a monthly basis, is it 50 grand a month? Is it 100K a month? Is it 150? And you start looking at those numbers on a monthly basis. And like I said, when you start competing with yourself and you're like, you know what? I did 100K this month. Can I bring it up to 125?
Right.
Can I do 150? And right there is when you're going to feel that tweak of competition in your brain where you're going to say, oh my God.
Of course.
I got to do this.
Yeah, and that happens to me every year.
So once you have that formula and you have that, you know, that playbook, oh my God, I go crazy.
So in this competitive field that we're in, what you're saying is that you usually compete with just yourself.
With, oh my God, and it gets me like how it's getting me right now.
So how do you feel about this type of competition where you're going to get a listing,
Right.
and it's you versus an agent?
Oh no,
at said-
I've been in situations, true life, where it's me versus 5 other agents.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
5 other agents.
That's what I'm talking
We're getting
about.
a property listing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a single family.
Right.
And again, I like to tell them, hey, look, leave me for last. If you have 5, great.
Yeah, that's the art of war. You're a little
Great. This is awesome. Leave them for last, and I'll see you. Tell me a time and day, and I'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, 99.9% of the time, I'm the guy.
Yeah, of course, man. Because you come with experience. You come with experience, man.
Experience, energy.
So experience, energy. Once someone gets, I always say, when there's somebody who's looking to list their home and they talk to Bryan Ozuna, the minute they actually get once it's face to face, it's done.
It's done, right?
It's a done deal. Once they're going to compare you to the guy who's had a fake personality the whole time, trying to use big words to impress you, sell you the star and the moon,
Right.
and then boom, they sit next to an authentic gentleman who's giving you the information you need to make the best decision, not forcing you to go left or right.
Right.
They're going to be like, oh, yeah, I need this guy
I
on my
like this
team.
guy, right? But again, it goes back to my roots, man. Like I grew up, you know, behind the fire truck or a paramedic truck, you know, growing up, EMT school, paramedic school, behind the ambulance truck. So I grew up learning how to deal with people.
Yeah.
Not only people, but people at their worst times.
Right.
So for me, when somebody complains about, oh my God, they just canceled.
Right.
It's like, okay, that's fine. Keep going, you know? And if you're complaining, there's not enough juice in that pipeline. So there's something wrong.
What do you mean?
There's not enough deals in that pipeline if you're complaining about a deal canceling.
Oh, okay.
You
100%,
get what I'm saying?
100%.
So that's something
100%.
that where when it's you versus you, mentally you got to say, bro, I only had 5 listings this month. It's not enough.
Yeah.
I've had 10 listings this month. It's not enough.
Yeah. Going back to the advice that I would give a new real estate agent or a new mortgage broker coming in, I would say if there was going to be a number 4,
Right?
I would say always work on getting new business. That's 100%. I
Right.
think the new business, you should have systems in place, right? Like someone who's
You
going
should
to
only
assist
have
you.
systems in place. I mean,
Someone
you
who's
should
going
have
to assist
multiple
you for
systems in
after
place.
contract, right?
Right.
All that kind of stuff, and only bring you in for the bigger problems. But I think you should always be looking for more people to help, because anything can happen that's outside of everyone's control that'll stop a deal from working. So if you're trying to get into mortgages, or if you're trying to get into
Real estate,
always work on new business. Sometimes it feels good getting that first deal in, and you think, oh man, I can finally relax.
Never.
I don't got to make the
But
phone
this
calls
is
no
what
more.
a lot of new agents, they mess up on. I love that you brought that
They
up.
babysit one deal.
They get 10 grand. They think that's it. We can go to Vegas and live for 6 months with no problems.
Nah, not in this world.
You
I don't know what world they're living in.
That's the misconception. That's the lack of, not knowing that this is not the game for that.
Yeah.
If you're going to make 10 grand, great. That's awesome. Put it away, pay what you have to pay, and let's keep going.
Right.
It's not margarita time.
It's not margarita time.
Negative.
And most people think it's margarita time when the contract starts.
Oh my God.
I got a contract.
Get out of here.
I got a contract.
I have never seen that.
You've never seen people already
Or
spending.
heard that. No.
Oh my God.
Maybe they do it on the low, but I've never.
Dude, there's people that are already like, oh, we got the contract, and they're feliz. And I'm like, all right, that's something good to be happy about.
That's not happy.
But the deal
yeah,
ain't closed until
right.
the deal is closed.
I like to be neutral throughout the entire thing. And even when it does close, at the closing, I'm very neutral as well.
Yeah.
And I'm already thinking, okay, who else is next?
Who else needs help?
Who else is next? Right away. Foot on the gas permanently.
Yeah, new realtors and new mortgage brokers or loan originators.
They think it's super lax, but it's not like that.
Always
It's not
focus
like
on
that.
new business. Always focus on who else can you help. And the deal is dead until it funds.
Right.
I'm going to say that again.
Until we CTC.
The deal is dead until it funds.
Clear to close.
That's it. That's why we're at Clear to Close Home Loans.
Let's go. How do you feel about, people that come to you and know you and want to be in this business, and then, something goes bad and automatically think, oh, it's Gio.
People who want to be in the business,
Right.
and something goes bad,
Right. And they automatically blame you for it.
well, we have to get down to the root of it. If something was my fault, I'm the type that, I man up to it.
Same.
If something was my fault.
Same.
But if it's something that, they're new to the business and they want to get into the business and something happens and something falls apart, you have to explain to them like, hey, this is a learning curve. This is what really happened. And if you want to make it in the long run,
Right.
our business is a long run business.
Correct.
Most people want it in for the short check, but this is a long run business. This is like an annuity. Every year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. This is a long run.
People come from all different places of the world, and Miami keeps getting hotter and hotter and hotter.
And the pipeline gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and the database bigger and bigger. That's a difference between someone who's in our business and someone who is in the MLB or someone who just got drafted into the NBA. I love those businesses, but you're capped, right? Once you're 35 years old, you're out, man. That's it. The newcomers are coming in.
For sure.
And
if you didn't do, or let me rephrase that. And if you didn't invest into a multifamily while being active in the MLB, NFL,
right,
or NBA, something's wrong.
Right.
Something's wrong.
No doubt.
For sure.
And that's the difference between our businesses. They got to retire at 35. When I'm 35, I can keep on going. My business is getting bigger and bigger. When I'm 40, it's getting bigger and bigger.
For sure.
My database of the people that I help gets bigger and bigger, and the people they know are sending me more business, and the people that they know are sending me more business.
Right. You
getting
create that
bigger
domino
every
effect.
year.
That domino effect is
right.
Is
my
real.
body's not deteriorating. I don't got to throw a ball.
I love that.
That's what I love about our business.
You keep getting better and better.
We keep getting better and better, man. Experience.
I love that. What type of properties are you buying nowadays?
And we're still on single families.
Are you?
I know, yeah.
You love single family.
I love single family.
Oh my God.
You love multifamily.
Oh my God. Don't get me started.
You love multi.
I love the cash flow, man.
Yeah.
I love the cash flow.
I like the steadiness of the single family.
I love the fact that every first of the month, we can say, all right, cool. Passive income is here.
No doubt.
Respectfully.
No doubt.
And that right there is it's for the mind, it does wonders.
And how bad do you want that for people?
Well, again, how bad do they want it? You know what I mean?
Sometimes I feel like I do want it more than what the clients do. But that's because I'm indulged in more information than them.
I'm here to just help them help themselves, to be honest.
Yeah?
That's it.
So check this out. So if you had let's say you had 2 Super Bowl tickets, right? 2 Super Bowl tickets, sideline, basically on the team, on the home team, or whatever team it is. And you call up a client and you say, hey man, I got these 2 Super Bowl tickets. You're gonna want to come.
Right.
I got them for you, bro. Like, I just couldn't wait to give you this call, bro, because I want you and your wife to go and experience this once in a lifetime type of thing.
Right. Oh, so you're not gonna be there. It's for them.
It's for them.
Okay, cool.
You're calling in, it's for them.
Cool.
And the client says, oye, pero que es un Super Bowl, yo, de verdad.
They don't want to go.
They don't want to go.
And that's fine.
So you're not gonna be like, hey, look, like, it's the Super Bowl. It's huge.
Right.
You're not gonna push that energy onto them. Like, wait, you're confused. At the head Super Bowl.
I'm not gonna put that pressure on them, nor am I
Pressure?
I'm not gonna put that pressure on them over a Super Bowl game, respectfully, because I love the Super Bowl. But if they don't understand it, they're not on that time, then I'm gonna just, I'm gonna fall back and maybe say, hey, do you have a relative that may want to go? I bought these for you. I don't want to take it back. Let's find the solution.
I use that analogy in the sense of real estate too, because these are huge opportunities.
Right.
Huge opportunities. If I get someone pre-approved for $600,000,
right,
or whatever it is, like, that's a huge opportunity. And if they try to brush it off, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that or whatever, I'm pushing my energy on that. Because this is a huge opportunity.
Well, it's like, if you're drowning, do you want me to give you a life jacket?
Firefighter over here talking.
Right. I mean, that's the only way I'm gonna put it in perspective. If you're drowning, do you want me to give you this life jacket? Great. Yes. All right. Perfect. Let's buy this investment property.
No doubt. If there's someone who's drowning do you want to give this life jacket?
Do you
And
want me to
do
give
you
you
want
the
me to
life
give you this life jacket?
Yes.
And they're like, no, I just want to drown.
Come on.
I'm diving in there. I'm diving in there.
Okay, so
I'm
it's
picking
deeper
your
than
ass up. I'm picking you up. You're an idiot, bro. We gotta go. We gotta go. The boat is sailing.
I love that. I love
That's
that.
us.
You see, that's deep for you guys. That's you see that I didn't even catch.
But that's
that
how I
one.
feel
That's a good
sometimes,
one.
though. Whenever we do get somebody, or whenever I see somebody, especially our veterans, bro, the veterans who got to put 0% down on a VA loan, sitting on a great opportunity.
Some just don't know.
They don't even know they can buy a quadplex, dude. 0% down.
But if they, that's the thing.
That's life. That's life changing.
It's huge.
You're telling me you fought for the country or you served for our country. You can buy a quadplex now
Because
with
it's still
0%
residential.
down.
It's still residential.
It's still residential. You're putting 0% down.
Correct.
Or even now, that's a huge opportunity. That's the type of situation where I'm pushing my energy on you. I'm like, dude, you've been working. You already got the 2-year work history. Your credit is stellar. You're putting 0% down. You're getting the best interest rate.
You see, that's
no
the,
mortgage insurance.
That's the con with first-time home buyers.
That's the con.
You have to tweak it. And again,
They don't realize it until after.
It happened to me personally.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for, again, my big bro, my broker, George Guerra, to tell me,
Love that guy, bro.
it took him at least 2 years to implement in my mind, Bryan, buy yourself a multifamily. Buy yourself a multifamily. I'm 27. I finally gave in at 29. 27, 28, I'm still like, I don't know. I still don't know. It didn't connect. It didn't connect. And I'm telling you this from experience.
Right.
Until COVID happened, that I almost, I had the terrible time, which I'm sure everybody, that did experience, they have their experience as well. Coming out of that, I was just indulging in buying a multifamily. I was just, let's do it. I'm in. I don't know what happened, but again, I always tell George to this day, bro, if it wasn't for you to tell me buy the multifamily, I probably would have been out here just still,
George has had your back for a long time, man.
Big bro.
George is a dude.
Big bro. So for me, when someone comes to me about multifamily and they don't understand what I'm trying to tell them, because, again, we can talk all we want, but if there's no actions being made, nothing's happening.
Right.
It's not a disrespect. It's just, the truth. So for me, when I try to tell the person, hey, multifamily is the way, they don't do it, there's only so many times you can tell somebody, hey, look, let's go.
The biggest kickback that I've ever gotten from multifamily, from first-time buyers, is the neighborhood that the multifamily is in.
But what does it matter?
I know. This is our opportunity now to make a nice little clip. Typically, if I have a first-time buyer, right, husband and wife, husband is working at a law firm now, right? He's been to college. Now he's finally making good money. Wife is now a nurse making great money. Right. Together as a unit, they qualify for $700,000, $800,000.
Right. But
and now they're looking for a single family home. And I tell them, you're a first time buyer. You should look into purchasing your first property as a multifamily, because you don't have to come in with your 20% down. And they say, no, I don't want to move to Wynwood.
I understand that, though. Like you said.
What do you say?
We're talking about an attorney and a nurse.
Correct.
They don't want to live in a duplex.
Right.
As a first-time buyer, they want to buy property.
They do.
And they want to start a family.
Correct.
But you got to know that going in and kind of like already seeing the type of person we're dealing with. Now, let me kind of 360. I get, the typical Miami jock that has good credit, okay? Has a job, but makes 6 figures.
Right.
Okay? Has a little bit of debt, but he's still paying. He's still on point. 750 credit, all 3 boroughs. Okay. That's the type of person. And no kids, no wife.
Right.
No kids, no wife.
See, that's a different scenario. I agree.
They're probably leaving home from parents because they they still live at home with mom, which is fine.
Grinder.
You know what I mean? They still take care of they take care of their people. Or you got that guy that lives downtown in Miami Beach, living the good life, but is still stable.
Right.
Does very well.
Yeah, they have different responsibilities.
Then that's the guy you want to push on that multifamily.
Yeah, because they understand the value aspect of it. They don't have mouths to feed.
Well, again, they take care of the family, which again, they do very good for themselves. So again, yes, you're right.
You're right.
You're right.
They don't got the kids, right? They don't got to worry about.
Right. Someone, like, if you tell me I'm dealing with an attorney and a nurse, a house immediately.
Right.
Immediately. unless they're investor savvy, and they're not thinking about.
They
the
will
future.
be.
They
People
will
like that,
be
they'll come
right,
around.
right. But that's for you to tell them the difference between first time home buyer and an investor,
Right.
because some people get those two completely confused.
Tell us the difference, brother.
Come on, as a first time buyer, you have to buy as your primary home. You're gonna live in it. You have to live in it. You have to live in it. As an investor, you already, like I said, you probably already have a home or a few houses, and you just want to buy a property that's going to generate some income flow for you.
What's the biggest? All right, so we talked about first-time buyers. What about first-time investors? What do you think is the biggest shocker to them when you work with a first-time investor?
I love my first-time investors. For the most part, the way I break it down to them, it's for me, I don't get no pullback.
Yeah.
I never get what is this? I never get, I don't think so. It's always like, Bryan, let's roll. And for me, I think that, I have an advantage because I own a multifamily. So when they talk to me and I tell them, hey, I own a multifamily every first of the month, I deal with landlords all the time for my personal lifestyle. They sit back and really listen, versus a realtor that, yes, I sell properties, I sell luxury.
Yeah.
I might have a house, but I don't know what it is to collect rent.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I see for first-time investors, and I mean like an investor, you're purchasing as a property you have no intention on living in, which happens.
You already
a few times.
have a house, and
you already probably even have multiple houses.
Okay,
right? You bought first a townhouse, then you bought.
If you
your
have
second
multiple
home.
houses, I think that already qualifies you as an investor.
Correct, but now I'm talking about buying as an actual investment property instead of purchasing your next property and renting out your old primary. I'm talking about actually purchasing. The biggest shock that I get, and even when I've helped clients who, they move on to a bigger and better home,
Right.
and they rent out their departing home,
Right.
they're technically investors. Now they contact me a few months later, and they say, "Hey, Gio, now we're ready to buy an investment property."
Right.
And I say, "All right, look, you own 3 other properties. We got you from the townhouse to the single family home to the bigger single family home, and now you got to buy as a real investor. You're not going to live in this property, right? No. We're going to stay here in my pool and whatever." The biggest shock is the down payment and the difference in interest rate as opposed to buying a primary home.
What do you tell them if it's too expensive?
What do I just tell them? Well, I don't say if it's too expensive. We got to go back to make sure that now, since you're purchasing it as an investor, we got to make sure that the numbers make sense.
Right.
Because this isn't the type of property or the numbers that you're used to with buying a primary home. Right. That's what a lot of people they get confused on.
Right.
First-time investors.
Right.
So if right now we're in a high interest rate environment, if you're getting a 6.5 interest rate on a primary home,
That's great.
You're buying an investment property now. When they tell you, "Oh yeah, this is an investment property, so you can get a 9.5 interest rate, no points," or they're like, "Whoa, did you say 9 inch? What are you talking about? 9%? Pablo, the house that you just got me 6 months ago was a 6.5 interest rate." Because now you're doing investment.
Right.
Once you put investment on that loan application,
It's a different ballgame.
it's a different ballgame.
You got to understand that.
That's one of the biggest obstacles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me,
huge.
it's like you said, I work with mostly more investors. So for me, it's like I kind of understand the way they talk already.
Yeah, investors are ready for the punches.
Oh,
investors, most of the investors I work with, they're good with some cash flow. I've even had some investors be good with just breaking even. Like completely even. Whenever they do a cash out refinance,
because they love the property,
or even on a cash out refinance to buy another property.
Right.
They say, "All right, this is how much cash flow I'm making on my, let's say, first property. I want to do a cash out refinance on it." They pull the equity out. The mortgage changes to where the rent can just cover the mortgage. That's it.
Right.
That's all they want. They're not even trying to make cash flow from it. They want to make cash flow on the next property.
But they understand that the market that they're buying in is going to give them a return,
and they're happy.
Years. Yeah,
they're happy. They're like a kid in a candy store.
That's the investment
Right.
mindset. That's
like,
no worries.
I'm
okay with breaking even. It's okay.
It's fine.
All good.
3 years later, they're gonna pull out more cash from that property,
or sell it.
Or sell it. But wait, how much time we got here? 5 million minutes. No.
5 million minutes. Now, multifamily.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, for those that are buying for the first time or those that are buying as an investor the first time, which one do you like working with best?
Bueno, for the investors for the first time, honestly, man, I get a kick out of all of them. But I really do like helping first-time buyers. And the reason why I like helping out first-time buyers...
You love the first-time buyers.
I love the first-time buyers.
You love
because
that.
I feel more of a difference in them than I do with the investor. The investor gives me a smoother transaction,
Right.
not emotional. But at the end of it all,
You want emotional.
no, I like the end result of what I just did for this family, if that makes sense. At first, you didn't understand that you could even get a down payment assistance. At first, you were about to spend first, second, last, and deposit, which was going to be about $13,000 to go rent.
Right.
And you got those same $13,000 to just cover your closing costs because I got you 100% financing on your first property. You didn't even think that was possible. Now you own an asset.
Right.
That's huge to me.
Yeah.
That's huge. I
That
get
is
way
huge.
more of a kick out of that.
That is huge. That
Right?
is
So now
huge.
the father, whoever it is, the mother or whoever,
Right.
now they have a place that they can call theirs.
Right. I
They
love
don't-
that.
yeah.
I love that.
It's 100. That's one
For
of my
me,
biggest things.
growing in the business, even when I was a firefighter, I always very, I leave my feelings at the door,
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes down to it, we're going to cancel. All right, cool. We're going to cancel. No worries. But let's move on. Let's move forward. Let's keep the momentum going, Let's keep going. That right there gets me excited.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, because again, you're not gonna get every buyer that's gonna say yes to the first property. So understanding that process already, when they say nah, I don't like that one, perfect. Oh my God, excellent. At least for me, that drives me.
All right. So let's say this. Before we go, what is
No, let's just stay another hour.
Let's say
keep it going.
what is the best pieces or the best piece of advice that you would leave a first time buyer right now? Right now, anybody who's watching this, what would be the best piece of advice that you would give a
First time
buyer?
buyer?
First time buyer.
Yes, it's gonna get emotional. It gets emotional with the first time buyer. When I say it gets emotional, it's an emotional attachment that they're gonna get for their first time that they're buying. It's a big investment. It's a big deposit they got to put down. So I would say, because it's so emotional like that, leave the emotions at the door.
So you would tell a first time buyer,
Leave your emotions.
leave the emotions at the door.
When working with a professional and you've surpassed, at least working with me, I would tell you, keep the emotions at the door. Keep your feelings neutral for now. Let's go to war.
All right. I love it.
When I say war, let's submit the offer. Let's see if it gets accepted. Let's go through the inspections. Let's go through, bringing your family to the inspections, bringing your friends, your uncle that's gonna ask for the 50,000.
Right.
Let's go through that. Let's get through that. Because like you said, first time buyer, we're gonna go through all of that.
Yeah.
Again, keep your emotions intact. Keep them at the door if you can, but just stay solid until you get that appraisal. We get that appraisal, okay. It's on.
And
yeah.
what advice would you give to the investor? What one piece of advice or pieces of advice would you give to an investor that contacts you? What advice would you give them? I didn't think he would take this long. I thought he would say talk to the mortgage king. But go ahead. What?
No. What's the first thing I would ask
Oh yeah, have you talked to the mortgage king?
an investor that already has a house that wants to invest for the first time, right?
Or that one, yeah. A seasoned investor or a first-time investor?
The first thing I would ask?
A piece of advice that you
Oh, a
would give them.
piece of advice.
Right now, someone who's watching this and they click on it and you're about to give them one piece of advice, what would it be?
It's just it's hard. It's hard.
You're saying the advice is hard, or would you say that the process is hard?
No, I'm just trying to. I want to deliver the right way. So
Okay.
Right. So for the first time buyer, first time investor that's coming in, you make sure that as long as you have the mortgage king Gio and the real estate line myself on your side, we'll be fine.
No doubt, they need
We'll
the
be
experience.
fine. We'll be fine.
They need the experience, man.
Honestly speaking, though, patience.
Patience.
Patience
Is a virtue.
I know some people are gonna be like, "What the hell? Like, you took all that time to just say patience?" Like, yes, when it comes down to it, you know what I mean. You gotta be patient. You're gonna make the offer. You gotta be patient if they're gonna agree or not. You're not gonna know right away. Sometimes you are. Sometimes you're not.
I concur.
You feel me?
I concur.
Well, in this case, you understand me. So it's like, come on, like, you don't, you want to have that patience. I honestly, I dislike patience, to be honest. I dislike patience, but you have to have it to be in this business.
No doubt.
To keep it going.
No doubt.
What about yourself? What number one
How much time
advice?
do I got?
What number? What advice would you give the first time investor coming into
The first time investor,
right?
and I had to give him advice.
Right.
The advice that I would give him is to prepare for the difference in the type of financing that you would get for your first investment as opposed to what you've been getting.
Love that.
I would just tell them prepare for that. It's normal.
Right. Every
investor is going through what you're going through.
Right.
This isn't end all be all.
Right.
Right? This isn't a world record, buddy. This has happened before. Just prepare for it. And your next investment property is going to be the same, and the other one's going to be the same.
Right.
We just have to understand that it's different from the benefits that you've been getting as primary homes. I would just say prepare for that. That would be my first advice.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, man, I mean, I appreciate you for having me, Mortgage King, man. This has been awesome.
Brother, it was a pleasure to have you here and doing this,
awesome.
man. And we've been on such a long ride. For those who don't know, I've known Bryan here
For over 20 years.
For over 20 years, man. Since we were kids, I've known him.
Yes.
And here we are today. And that's why I had to get him on the episode 1, chapter 1, verse 1 of, we'll call it the Mortgage King podcast. I just realized that we didn't even have a title.
I love that. I love that. The Mortgage King podcast.
No
Let's
doubt,
go.
man. Before we go, I want to give all glory, honor, and praise to the Most High and his son, Jesus Christ. It's who we do it for.
Amen.
And we're out of here.
Love that.
Clocking out.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.